Welcome back to a Weekly Manga Podcast book club series where we deep dive and explore the weekly shonen magazine series GACHIAKUTA by Urana. My name is Bruce. I am the proprietor of the White Gray Black YouTube channel and am joined, of course, by my constant co-host, Gautam.
Hello, hello.
This week, we are covering volume 13 of the series, which is chapters 104 to 112. Let's start off with some quick thoughts on the volume. Gautam, let's start with you.
I loved it. Maybe one of my favorite volumes. It was primarily all like world building. We got a little bit of action, and the little bit we got was cool. But it was mostly like world building and intrigue, and it was totally up my alley. Yeah. How about you? What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. We have spent the past 3 or 4 volumes like being introduced to a lot of little threads and questions without a whole lot of like reveals or answers, and I think we kind of start to get answers in this volume, which I think is satisfying. That lead to more questions, but
yeah, exactly. More questions, but more answers. So
yeah, which I think, I mean, it speaks to how perfectly balanced I think the momentum of this manga is. Like, I think it just moves like in the best way. Like, it is.
Yeah.
The fact that each of these volumes is 9 chapters and I feel like 100 things happens in all of them is wild. The fact that we're
I know.
barely over 100 chapters in, and I feel like I have this like massive understanding of the world, and all these questions about the history and the characters and backstories and stuff is pretty wild. So
I appreciate how cohesive it all feels. Like,
yeah, it feels
the scope of it is not like One Piece level where there's this legendary figure here that we don't know about yet, and this person there. It's like everyone, all the players are mostly all in the picture so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's all circling back around in satisfying ways.
It's
not to say the One Piece method is bad, but it takes like 3 decades to get there, right?
Yeah, and One Piece goes kind of wide and deep. It goes a lot of characters really spread out, doing lots of different things, and it has a deep kind of like history and world, and world building and stuff. GACHIAKUTA, I think it goes less wide. There's less characters, there's less things,
it's more
but
focused for sure.
Yeah, but it's also going pretty deep, so I definitely enjoy it.
And I appreciate. I don't think anyone can really do the One Piece method anymore in the current landscape. It took like 3 decades for Oda to build this epic. Nobody has the time, nor do they have the, I don't know, like the staying power or the ability to like set these pieces up as slowly as One Piece does anymore. You know?
Yeah, manga has to move faster in the modern day. Also, you might,
sure.
you viewer might be asking what's going on with the background. We are recording this before we know what the cover of Volume 13 looks like, so we have a question mark here. Going forward, we will probably be recording these kind of as the 9 chapters finish. We assume that each volume will be 9 chapters. So we're probably not going to have those really good cover thumbnails that I make. Haha, I think they're really good. On the actual discussions, you should see them when you click the video, though. So cool. You want to hop into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. Chapter 104, titled The Box. This is a little curious because chapter 103 is also titled The Box in English.
Is it? Oh, is it?
Yeah, I was going to look up their Japanese names, but I forgot to. So I wonder if there is a different spelling or something, and the translator just said, well, they're both called The Box. But I don't know. Maybe they're both just called The Box.
Okay.
It isn't even The Box Part 1 and Part 2. They're literally the title of both these chapters in English is chapter 103, The Box, chapter 104, The Box. So.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Yeah, so we get back. We get back to everybody. Trash Beast still here, still fighting. They mentioned down here at the bottom that its box has been stolen, but the Trash Beast doesn't react to it. So I don't know if this implies that it's. They kind of say like maybe it's. I think Zodal is the one talking here.
Yeah.
Like, what is the Trash Beast guarding if it wasn't the box that Kuro took and gave away here? So.
And we actually, I'd say we'd circle back around to what it's guarding, but we never figured that out yet.
Yeah, not in this volume at least. I do wonder if we come back here eventually, but I'm not sure.
I mean, we got to. It's a Chekhov's gun otherwise.
Yeah, what's the Trash Beast guarding? We don't really know. I mean, I maybe it is the box, but the box isn't its core vital instrument that keeps it alive. I don't know. Maybe there's just 2 or something.
I don't think they'd mention it, right? Like, it's like, what is it guarding?
It definitely is hanging a lantern on it of like, hey, notice that this Trash Beast is guarding something, and we don't get to it in this volume. So
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we get Engine does this cool move, which I think looks sick. Worrying about, they're worried about like, Rudo, should you use this? You don't know what this box is. We don't trust Kuro. Kuro just gave it to you. And he spins his umbrella, and I don't know. It just looks sick. I think this is like, Engine is the coolest fighter, I think, in the series so far.
And it's important to note that Engine wants Rudo to open the box to beat the Trash Beast. Kuro wants to know what's in the box, and Follow doesn't want the box open because he's suspicious of Kuro.
Yeah.
And at this point, and we see in the next page, nobody is actually thinking about the item itself. Rudo has a unique perspective on trash, and he feels bad for the box. And that people only see it as a means to an end instead of like a valued item.
Yeah. This is If you are in high school, or if you remember high school English or had forgotten about it, this is one of these things that they teach us, right? This is a technique called personification, where something that is not a person is given person-like traits. And Rudo, we had a comment, I think, on last week's video that kind of hit on this, that I had a very short discussion about. But one of the things that Rudo does with virtually every piece of trash that he uses as a weapon or a tool, he personifies it in a way that, well, it isn't even necessarily him literally personifying it. I think that Rudo is doing something where he can like talk to and speak, and like, I think there are personalities inside these vital instruments, and Rudo's one of the only people who can hear them, would be my theory, I think. Well, I think we've seen that kind of proven, so.
And, I don't even think it's like hearing or communicating with it. It's just like, I don't even know how to say it aside from like resonance or like vibing. Yeah. He like understands the intent inherently.
Yeah, but I think that's so speaking about Fu/he was kind of where that comment was talking about. Because we talked about, I think last volume, is the he doll his vital instrument? Is it a copy of his own personality? And the commenter said something about how there's an idea in Japanese mythology, which I think I've probably seen in anime a couple times, where if a item is like very well cared for and very old, it will like gain sentience and its own personality, which I think is kind of the basis of GACHIAKUTA. If you go way back, is probably that piece of Japanese lore. But we haven't really seen, right? Like Rudo's gloves don't talk to him. I don't think Engine's umbrella like has a personality, but Fu's does. But I do think that we see, like I mentioned, I do think we see Rudo sort of vibing, communicating, feeling things from the trash that he uses, as opposed to other people who have their tools and don't feel those things, right? Like there's some kind of, it also kind of ties in, I think, into the way trash beasts are made with the vital instrument at their core, right? Because they're thrown away, if that inner, whatever you want to call it, the inner personality of that piece of trash or vital instrument, if it's angry because it was thrown away, it becomes a trash beast, right? And if it's happy, it's a vital instrument for a leaves or whatever.
First chapter stuff too. It's like they mentioned that these objects all have souls.
They do, exactly.
Yeah, like quote unquote souls, like an intent, like given to them by the owner that took care of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't think this is fully fleshed out yet. I don't think we can say exactly how it works, but I do think that there is the idea that we're getting here is that Rudo cares about these things, and I think he can sort of, like you said, like resonate, talk to, understand what they want or need more than other people who, even with their own personal vital instruments, right? Except for like maybe Fu-he, maybe that's a little bit different, where something with the personality there is a little wonky, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Rudo's is like flexibility. He can just understand the intent of everything, whereas people have to work and cherish like an item forever in order to get it for one vital instrument.
To know what the item wants to do and to cooperate with it, and that is sort of the vital instrument level, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but you're right. So we pointed out, Engine, has faith in his powers, Follow has concerns, Kuro wants to know what's inside, but Rudo says no one's caring about the box, and I care about the box. People only look at the outside. I couldn't help projecting my feelings about that on the box. It made me feel kind of funny in the chest. It made me want to make this guy shine. So yeah, I mean, this is quite literally literary personification, right? It's a box. It's not a guy. And the words we use here are, it makes me want to make this guy shine. Like that, if you're looking for a perfect example of what personification you were taught in English class is, this is a box. This does not have a gender. And Rudo addresses it as, we want to make this guy shine. So that is personification. So I think that's a really cool technique there. You learned something today if you'd forgotten it from high school English.
And Rudo is like, he does this with like every object and every piece of trash he finds throughout the series. It's like kind of especially, it's like meaningful, but it's also a little funny how he's like preaching the value of this box he just found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But like, I've had this box for 2 minutes, and if anyone said anything bad about it, I would kill them and then myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he loves this box, bro.
Every piece of trash he's given. I also love this, how he gets Rudo's sort of like harumph.
It's like a Sentai pose, isn't it? A little bit like when the Power Rangers go up into their little mechs.
Or it feels very sort of like Dragon Ball Z, like stand, cross your arms, like fly in the sky, like just looking, staring down the other guy. He like rises up to stare the trash beast in the eyes. Boxes aren't just there to be opened. It's like they're there to put stuff inside them. Then the box, like, this is sick. Like, this is really cool.
Turns into a giant mimic chest.
Yeah, a giant just like beast mouth thing, and it opens up. I had forgotten about this, but everything that Rudo awakens has his name on it somewhere. Rudo's name is on like the front of the box here.
This feels like, I think all of Rudo's like tech stuff, or not tech stuff, like transformation stuff is like, I feel like it's like a throwback to Full Metal Alchemist in how Edward Elric transmutes things into these edgy, tacky little objects that are like, that look just like Rudo's stuff. It's like they're all edgy versions of themselves because he's a teen.
I think it's an even more severe version of it. Like Rudo is, and I think this is something that obviously the author is the creator, but like this is Kei Urana, I think, like having fun and flexing the things that she likes on the page. Is like, oh, Rudo's going to awaken a nail gun, and I'm going to make it look like the sickest, coolest, like raddest nail gun ever. Like, oh, he's awakening a chest. It's going to be edgy and have giant teeth and intense eyes.
It's the most 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Like what they think is cool, which is cool, but it's like very much like preteen teenage energy.
It's absolutely like rule of cool. Like, oh, what would a chest look like when it awakens? Like, make it as cool as possible. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Like, what does a nail gun look like? Doesn't matter. Make it as cool as possible. Like,
exactly.
It awakens a second time. Make it cooler. But yeah, so we get but also the goofy, the goofy funniness of it. So the chest completely eats the trash beast here that was protecting it. Rudo just like was standing there the whole time, and he's like, they're all clean. It's just flexing the like, you all looked down on my little chest, and I awakened it and used, and it one shot the big trash beast. So yeah, this is also no one really talks about it in the story here, or at least not like too much, but Rudo is incredibly strong. Like, think about how tough that trash beast was, how Engine, who I mean just mentioned is like likely the strongest fighter. Engine was I don't know, remember if it was last volume or this first chapter, he's like, I might need to use that secret thing that's in my bag that's really powerful. I think it was last volume, last chapter. But Engine's like, I can't beat this with just my umbrella. I might need my secret weapon, whatever that is, we don't know. And Rudo is just like, awakens a box he held for 20 seconds and one-shots this thing. Like, that is, if you were a Vital Instrument user and like had trained all your life with one item, and this kid can just pick up a box for less than a minute and make it one shot an incredibly powerful trash beast, that is a level of power that is pretty insane. Yeah,
Rudo is very much, of course he's a protagonist, so he has hacks, but he's like in Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, there was like a bunch of strong people, but the strongest dude was the summoner, the chubby, friendly summoner guy, who he by proxy of just being able to summon huge creatures, like was the biggest threat to anyone. Rudo can just do things outside of conventional strength that make him incredibly strong, but also it makes it hard to gauge because he could, depending on the item, he can just like absolutely lose the next battle, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's implied, next chapter maybe coming up, that like some of the connection that Rudo has to that, which we'll learn about in a little bit, potentially could have powered it up even more. So
yeah.
One last thing I wanted to kind of mention. This kind of idea that boxes aren't there just to be opened; they're there to put stuff inside them. we've talked about this kind of since chapter 1, that this idea that people are like disposed people still have value. This I think is a nice kind of tangential reiteration, I guess you could say, of that. Like, I think this is pretty directly saying sort of like people aren't only what you can get out of them, right? Like a chest isn't only what you're taking out of it. People aren't only what you get from them. Like that's a selfish way to look at it. It's also like what you can do for them, what you can put inside them. Like I think that this lines up really well with, I think, Rudo's worldview and the kind of theme of GACHIAKUTA so far.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's an ebb and flow instead of just trying to get something out of the box. It's and we know this because Rudo said he was projecting his feelings onto the box that he met 2 minutes ago. But yeah, it's it all works. It's all good. It's thematically consistent.
All the 105 chapters
continues to reestablish Rudo's worldview while also making him more confident and self-assured. This volume.
Yeah. And compassionate stuff. So
yeah.
So that's 104. 105 now is called Behold What It Holds. With a cool pose, Rudo. I thought this is a great something about the sort of like gradient from like the gray sky to the white glow beneath. Like Urana has excellent mastery of what a page should look like and how to make things stand out. Like it looks so cool. So now we get what was in the box, what Kuro wanted to get at. The box contained a letter by Rudo's ancestor, Canis Sherbrek, the Undertaker. It is his last will and testament. I was not expecting this. I think this is cool. I read this and I was like, holy crap, that's like, we're going for it. Like, this isn't, again, with the sort of momentum of the volume, like, we were introduced to Canis Sherbrek, like, what, 10 chapters ago, 15 chapters ago? We kind of found out what that was. And already it's like, here's his last will and testament. Rudo's his descendant. I think this is cool. And we'll just kind of go through it. I think I have almost every page here from it. This is Canis' last will and testament. It says, I couldn't do it. I couldn't stop the humans. All I could manage was to bury them. My dear children, your father has to go to break this chain. So please, and then there's a bunch of stuff scratched out that we can't really read. Live happy lives. What happened to him?
So I think this is like aligning with us thinking he is the Watchman.
I think so. Yeah. I think that makes him much more likely. I think that's a coin in that
bucket. Yeah. So I think we can skip over our Watchman theory crafting for this panel because I think we're aligned there. But I do think it's interesting that he mentions children. So Canis is Rudo's dad.
No. I think it tells us either this chapter or later on that he's like his great grandfather. It's like it's like 150 years ago. I think about.
He said Rudo's relative, Canis.
Well, yeah, there was something. There was something we skipped over that I went back and looked at. In the chapter where they're looking at the paintings on the ceiling and talking about when we first find out that Rudo is related to Canis. There's a line there that someone says 6 generations. So if you assume a generation to be like about 25 years, somebody has a kid, it's like about 150 years. So, and someone else later says like over 100 years ago, Canis Sherbrek. So it's possible that Canis can still like manifest as a human and have kids. Like maybe I wouldn't put that past the series, but I think it's more that he's just relative. Great grandfather, right? So
I was thinking he was maybe his dad, so Rudo had siblings, but no, never mind.
Rudo definitely could have siblings, though. I don't think that's out.
We just don't know. Yeah. Okay, got it.
One of the. Sorry, go ahead.
So, your father has to go and break this chain. Presumably, humans were doing human things and maybe destroying themselves in some way. I assume that's why the world is in shambles, right? And split to the sky and the ground. I wonder what breaking the chain entailed. And
yeah.
I'm not sure.
This confirms a couple of things for me, which I think were like pretty heavily confirmed, but it could have just been flavor. Like this is a post-apocalyptic world, right? Like this confirms that 100%. Like I think we were fairly sure, but it was never like maybe the basketball goals and the stuff. Yeah, but yeah, it just is, right? Like and whatever apocalypse happened, Canis was trying to stop it from happening, or the thing that he did was the catastrophe, right? So like I couldn't do it. I couldn't stop the humans. All I could manage was to bury them. Here's how I'm reading this. I'm reading this that something Canis did or was involved in forced a lot of the humans down onto the like trash ground, which means that the sphere. I don't know what that necessarily means for the sphere, but to me this seems like. The way I read this in my, I guess, sort of like imagination theory at this time would be that this has something to do with humans polluting the earth, like just throwing things away, pollution and trash. He couldn't stop them. He couldn't break that chain, but he was able to bury them by like sending them down into the trash. And when he says your father has to go, he has to break this chain. I think what that is he's setting himself up as the watchman to prevent people from traveling between the sphere and the ground, but I don't really know why. Like that kind of ends like to me, like your father has to go and break the chain. If we assume that Canis is I want to take him the Undertaker, the Watchman. What the Watchman is doing right now is preventing people from traveling between those two places. So there is some kind of chain between people traveling between the sky and the ground where the trash is, but I don't know. It like I'm part of the way there, and I think we're supposed to only be part of the way there, obviously. But something like that. I think
we're barely like an inch there because it's like too big.
Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff that this definitely could be.
I don't think it has to do with the pollution of the earth because that's still happening despite what he did. Like despite the situation they're in, I think it's like more so ending a war. Because the world is in shambles, presumably because things got nuked to hell or whatever happened. Yeah, something like that. So I'm guessing he's splitting up like the warring factions, so they have no access to each other.
Oh yeah, possibly. Or I mean, here's the other thing that it could be. It's interesting you mentioned like nukes, just because he says I couldn't stop the humans. All I could manage was to bury them. Is them the humans? Is them the weapons? Is them something else? Like them is
what
a vague
why
term.
Did he specify humans? Is because
is he not
if he didn't say humans, we would have assumed he meant humans.
Right.
So specifying there is interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if the Japanese uses ningen or another word. But yeah, this is interesting, and it definitely, like we said, confirms some things. Kind of starts you down a new path of theorizing. But yeah, not quite enough information to really know anything. So
yeah.
So cool. Yeah, and Ruda is wondering what happened to him. Here's where stuff with Kuro gets pretty interesting. He's like, thank you. I'm glad you came to the ground. And he's like, Kuro, who are you? He's like, wait a minute. Tell me, information broker. How could you tell from that letter that it was written by Rudo's ancestor, Canis Sherwick? He's like, dear child, I know because the bottom of the box was engraved with Canis's logo. I also like this where he just like turns around to look at the giant monster behind him.
Yeah.
And then we get a cool little twist here. Not twist, but surprise, I guess. Where Kuro is like, I'm satisfied. Thank you for reading that. I'm very happy with what I've done. Allow me to supply you with my merchandise. And we get this very, very cool panel of Momoa getting behind him, giving him the touch, and a great spread here. Again, your information is mine. And I like that she has her name on her headphones also.
So I anticipated what came next as soon as she touched him.
Is this the next? It's the next chapter, yeah. But we'll wait.
I didn't expect it to be as like fun as it was. Like I anticipated her getting overstimulated. Because he's an info broker. But I didn't expect Kuro to be this like 3D mind chess about it. Literal 3D mind chess about it.
This was the this was the volume where I went and checked the Reddit threads on more chapters than ever, because this happened. I was like, okay, what did Reddit think about this like 2 or 3 months ago? And they had the same theory. They were like, oh, her mind is about to get like overwhelmed with too much information and too much stuff. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I was like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Kuro just has, some other secrets. But yeah, we can keep going. 106 here, titled Lurkers. I like the start of this because I like Engine like beating himself up for like letting his guard down. Like, he's the adult in the room and most of the time, even though he's like lazy and an asshole. But like this is the first time we've seen him, like one of the first times seen him like angry, determined, like really seriously focused.
Yeah, exactly. Because he lost track of the plot a little bit.
Yeah. And then we get, I'm not gonna lie, I love this part. I think that there was a little bit of teasing with Zodal. He didn't really get to fight back when they were inside the big trash beast and all those volumes. And this was cool to me that he like steps in now to okay, no one else is here. It's my turn to like hold them off.
Can I just say, everything Zodal does is just cool.
He's a cool bad guy. I like him a lot as a bad guy. Like, he's great.
Like, I don't know how he did it, but even when he was unhinged and bit the head off that roach, that was even a little cool. Though it was gross, but it was cool.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that again because that's Reddit had another good theory that I want to talk about. We'll maybe bring it up towards the end, but yeah. This is cool though because it's I don't know, it's cool. He just fucking like slides in with his badass jacket, and he uses his vital instrument called Mishra, which I think is a cool name. We got like 2 or 3 names in a row now that have not been god awful. We got Mishra's a cool name, Momoa's a normal name. I think we have 2 names coming up that are a little weird. But
how do you gauge what's cool and what's not? Is it just mouthfeel?
But yeah, there for English, there are some words that feel cool to say and some that don't. Bundus is not a cool name. It is grown on me. Not a cool name to say. Hello, my name is Bundus.
And it's only grown on me because I like Bundus, but I do too.
It's the b and duh are 2 like I don't know. Bundus. It's a weird one. Mishra is very. Mishra feels like Lord of the Rings elven to me. Like it reminds me of like.
It sounds like a Hindu deity.
Yeah, or that. I mean, there's for sure. It rolls off the tongue a lot better, I think. Yeah, and it's cool, man. It's just cool. Zodal's cool. His jacket goes kind of all like flamey and intense. He uses it to kind of strike out. He's got an interesting pattern here. I don't know if this is important. Interesting pattern.
It's like, and he has like a very, Darkseid's laser beam move.
Oh yeah, the Omega beams, or
it's like that. He has like a splitting.
Yeah, where they don't go straight. They like go. Yeah,
exactly.
It's a cool design thing. The box gets kind of taken off. Then we cut to Momoa, who is inside Kuro's head. And we get like it's nice that we get like a little tease of like backstory of like
and we were kind of right about like it's exactly what we said, where she wears the headphones so she can like kind of keep out of the outside world.
Yeah, block the outside world out.
Yeah.
Even when she couldn't play music.
The safety blanket of the headphones.
Yeah, and I get that because I wear these headphones like 16 hours a day, and sometimes when they're off, I'm like, I'll just put them on.
Dude, I me too. It's like I don't know why it's more comfortable.
I mean, for all the years I've known you, we used to go to movies, and you would show up with your headphones. Like you wouldn't have them on, but like you would have them. So
yeah, I don't know why. It's because she's me IRL. It's I like, even if I'm not listening to music, I have them on just because it's comfortable. It's comfy.
Yeah, it's your vital instrument soon.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. This name's a little worse. Asil, but it's not too bad. Vital instrument. A cool. It's like, I hear your world, now let me bathe in it. And then she's like, oh fuck, oh fuck, get me out. It's just like an overwhelming amount of memories. I think most of these are panels from the manga, actually, because I tried to look through these and see like, oh, is there any like new information or new things in here? And I don't think there is. And she notes it, right? Momoa notes it. She's like, there's so much, like information broker or not, no one person has this many memories. And like these memories, who are they? Like, yo, Bob, boss, that trash beast. Come on, Amelia, you're talking about that again?
Yeah.
And we get a cool shot of Canis he's wearing the jacket, he's wearing the glove, he's wearing the boots.
And this is Kuro's hand reaching out to him.
Yeah, it is because the gloves and the
gloves, the
suit, I guess, that he wears, you could say.
He was slimmer at the time.
Yeah,
because of how the gloves fit.
For sure. And then Kuro, Kuro's such a cool. Every character is so great in this series.
Kuro's so dope.
He's so weird and cool, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like She's like, how long have you been alive? And here's we get a little bit more building of kind of this like apocalyptic time. It's like sightings of monsters made from trash. Like, what kind of joke is this? So obviously there was a time before where there were not monsters made from trash.
So this is okay. So from this, we know that Kuro is like over hundreds of years old, and he was there before trash beasts existed.
And he knew Canis directly.
And he knew Canis.
Is what we kind of learned by the end of this chapter, I think. So yeah. Which kind of which made me go back to look at the paintings and the symbols, and one of them is an eye, and maybe Kuro has something to do with that like eye symbol that we were theorizing about, because he's kind of an all-knowing, all-seeing, like he knows things.
Who knows? Like,
and it also did mention that the four like symbols that we kind of theorized around, like one of them being the Watchmen series, the eye, one that looks like the umbrella. They were all mentioned of all being friends with the artist. So they would have all known each other. And here we have confirmation that Kuro knew Canis, and Canis, we know, knew the artist.
Right.
So something in there, I think that eye might be Kuro and whatever he was doing back there. So
very well could be.
So
I think that's actually a strong theory. Yeah. Given him and Canis' relationship.
I think so, yeah.
Seemingly they were close, yeah.
If not that, then he... Maybe it's one of the other ones or something, but I tried to think like, is this name Amelia important? And I don't really think it is.
Not yet anyway.
But yeah, so that's it for 106. 107 is just called Elder, which again is kind of a confirmation. This is a very old person. 50 years, 100 years? No, it's more. He's been around for much longer. And she kind of starts getting. And Kuro's like, her ability is to hear, so maybe that serves no purpose. He like poked her in the eyes. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
He like does this weird like poke her in the eyes things. It's like, would the air eye poke even have an effect on her? It's like, you're right. I'm not interacting with you directly. The me that you see before you or behind you or beside you is just a memory.
He left a video recording for her, anticipating that she'll read his mind.
Yes, this is like 5D chess of like, she can see memories. I will remember me doing all of this to her so that when she comes in, I will do all of this to her. It's wild. It's cool, though.
It is literal 3D mind chess, and it's goofy and fun. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Where's the thing? He's like, a memory just for you that I prepared before Rido and his friends came to visit. But that would mean, like, you foresaw this? You knew this would happen? Kuro definitely kind of, like, levels up from, like, he's a weirdo to, like, again, this chapter title is Elder. Like, this is an old guy, and the reason he knows so much is he knows, like, everything.
He's got his hand on the pulse, that's for sure.
Yeah. The thing about information is that it's fragile. The more it gets shared, the more easily it loses its proper shape. But you see, once it has spread in its misshapen form, it becomes possible to make new discoveries and thus gain more information. He says, I will give you Raiders a small piece of information in the hopes that I can discover what I want to know, the lost memories. So this also kind of implies that he doesn't fully remember Canis and that kind of era or before. Maybe why Canis isn't around anymore. Maybe he like kind of remembers losing Canis, but not why. That would be kind of my guess here.
It's kind of like the Lost Century in One Piece. Why is the memories lost in the first place though?
Yeah, which I think maybe would kind of make sense if Canis had to do some unspeakable thing and change himself into the Watchman. Maybe he doesn't want his friends to remember that, and so he used his. If you think about how powerful each of the Watchmen series are shown to be so far, one guy having all of those, I think, would be legitimately like incredibly powerful. So
and the dude is a Cthulhu, so like
right now, yeah. If we assume that our theory there.
Or wait, the first one was a Cthulhu. The current one is probably Rudo's dad being the Watchman. But
that's okay. Wait, no, that's actually a good theory. It could be that like the fate of the Surebrek clan is to like grow up and become the next like Watchman. That's why there's all the different ones, right?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. 6 different monsters that we saw.
Yeah, that's a good theory. I didn't think about that. I can buy that. That's very classic. But yeah, Kuro kind of curses Momoa with like, you'll pay with a freeze. He's like, I'm going to overload your brain. You're going to be out of it for a month. She gets kind of messed up.
And I love right before this, Momoa's like, I feel bad for the cleaners who had to pay. And then he's like, now for the payment. Yeah. You know, like
he's like, she's kind of smiling and smug. She's like, oh, they had to pay a price and I didn't. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna knock you out for a month, by the way.
Yeah.
This is also, I think this is interesting because if you think about what everyone else was seeing outside of this, because, you know, we were inside Kuro's head for, you know, 10 or 12 pages. But probably what happened is like she touches him, Zodal jumps out, does an attack, and then she just like is immediately rebuffed back. And they're all like, wait, what? Like,
and Zodal is like, he's talking with Kuro. Basically, he's like looking for intent to kill Kuro, knowing that she has the information now. But Kuro's so on top of this shit that he's like, yeah, you have to wait a month for her information, and it's not even all of it. That's sick.
I do wonder, I think that this to me feels like a MacGuffin, that this is some information that we aren't actually given in this chapter, because the information could have been something we're already shown, like, I don't think it is. I think that the information he gives to Momoa, we don't know yet. And I think that she'll wake up in 30 or 40 chapters and she'll say something. It'll be like, oh, wow, that's a new information for all of us. Cool. Let's chase it down.
Yeah, because we don't know what the Raiders are exactly looking for outside of the choker stuff.
Yeah. The Raiders, we definitely know, are trying to look for a way to get to the sphere, which I think involves them also tracking down all of the Watchmen series. So we know that, but I think there's other...
We just don't know their one request from their information broker, like the exact question that they
that they would have asked, yeah, or I guess stolen with Momoa, but yeah.
Zodal fueling up with a Sando here.
Yeah, he crunches in. Maybe now is the time to talk about this. So he crunches into this. It kind of changes. His coat changes after he munches into kind of these, like, they look like raven's wings.
If the theory is that's why he bit the head off that cockroach, I don't agree. I think he just did that to do a power move.
Okay, I'm going to bring this up now. I think this is a good time to do it. I did not realize this, but I read the theory on Reddit. I think it's a pretty good theory. I don't necessarily think it's 100% correct, but I think it lines up decently amount. It lines up a decent amount. So the idea is that we know of, I think, 3 Watchmen series, kind of a 4th, right? We know that there's gloves, we know that there's jacket, we know that there's boots, and we know that there's one potentially related to chokers.
Yeah.
The theory goes like this.
And we know of a 5th one as well, which is the Necronomicon.
Oh, and yeah, that's right, the Necronomicon, which we learn about later. I'll pull that information in here. The theory states that there are 5 Watchmen series items that relate to the 5 senses. Ryuo's gloves are touch. The Necronomicon, I think, is sight. I wrote this down. Let me go find it. So one of the 5 senses is taste. And the jacket, the theory goes that the jacket is taste, and whatever Zodal tastes, he can transform his jacket into, right? Or it like changes the power his jacket has. So the theory, right, which is why we see him earlier eating. Before they travel somewhere, he eats that raven, or crow. And then potentially that would give him these wings and they could fly to where they're going. He, again, eats what I'm going to assume here is like a raven sandwich. And because he tastes the raven, his coat can turn into wings again.
Actually, a good theory. Because
I think it is. I think it's pretty good.
Ammo's boots are smell.
Ammo's boots are smell, yeah. And then, so it's touch, smell, taste, sight, and the chokers would be the hearing one, right? Because you can do the voice thing. So to me, I saw that and I was like, shit, that makes a lot of fucking sense. Like that's
actually, I think they might just be right.
I think so
they
too.
Might just be right. Yeah.
Like it kind of lines up too well to not work. Like
it's almost too good. If it wasn't that. That's a good point. Yeah. Good theory.
And we'll learn later with the Necronomicon stuff that like it affected the sight potentially of someone who it was being used on. And then Rudo's is touch, which I think is just pretty standard, like the gloves. I don't know if we've necessarily seen that one lined up exactly, but the others line up pretty like 1-to-1. So
okay, interesting.
Yeah, so he kind of like, I don't know why we got 3 panels of Zodal eating, but we did.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
let the man enjoy a sandwich.
Let me see. Brain overload confirmed. I just wrote because I didn't know about this at the time. I just wrote, why is he eating a sandwich in my notes? But
I said Zodal fueling up. Good shit, gamer.
Yeah. Next chapter here, though, 108. Stay out of our way. Seriously. But yeah, I think he's finishing eating his jacket, making the wings. And Kuro's like, no, like killing me is not going to heal you, And he again, he pointed out here. And what is that sandwich you were eating a minute ago? Oh, is that the trigger for the shape change? Wink, wink. I think this is like, not confirms it, but like this is more information or more a hint towards. Yeah, something about him eating stuff changes his powers. I think it's cool because going back now, we pointed out like, he just bites a head off a cockroach. Why does he do that? And it's like, probably because it gives him some weird power, and it did. He his code
don't
acted.
Believe that though. That is one thing I think he just did for a power move.
Well, I think it's both, right? I think he did it to like, this will freak Rudo out, and then also because his jacket's power is different when.
Well, he didn't even use the power though. So that's why I think it's just
he does. I don't remember. It's like the next chapter. It's soon-ish after. It's not directly, but it's soon. But yeah, it could have been something else though. Yeah. But yeah, so we get another cool spread. Rudo's basically like, I see you can't move. You're full, and I've used all my 3 power things.
I love Follow's face of just disappointment.
Yeah, I'm just like, he can't do anything.
Yeah,
because it's just like slog. Thanks for giving. Uralda eating that trash beast boxing. He's like, I'll take it from here. He's like, all right, I'd like to, but I'm not great at arrangement. I like that he like chainsaw starts his umbrella, which is just like, of course he does.
Engine is fucking sick. This is one of the cooler ones. I love this yo-yo ability that he does with his umbrella.
He just like spins it. It's got like a string. He swings it around. Yeah, it's very cool. And also Zodal, I just love. He's badass. It's like the next time the paths to our goals intersect, I will roll up my sleeves and beat you into the ground. It's just like, bad guys they always try to be so like, I'm holier than thou. I'm smarter than you. I like how Zodal is just like, Rudo, if I see you again, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Like, it's so good.
Zodal is both because he is an I am very smart user who is like, let's do some testing. Let's form a hypothesis and test it. But he's also like pissed off right now.
Yeah, right now he's like,
I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you, brother. Next time I see you.
Yeah, he's like outnumbered. He's having to run. He doesn't like being cowardly. It's so good. I will roll up my sleeves and beat you into the ground.
And he prioritizes Momoa's safety. Really a good employer.
Which gives him depth. Like he is a bad dude and he's gonna beat the shit out of Rudo, but also he saves his underling who is important. So
yeah, and it's only because she's important to his grand machinations. But I'll tell you, if you tell your boss at work, I got brain overload and don't show up for a month, you're not getting helped.
Not much value there. But he's got other things. But yeah, I mean, he's got the crow wings. So, engineers, like I thought they were going to give us more trouble. They just gave up and ran. Logical choice, blah blah blah. That's how much you can trust the word price from the information broker Kuro. Engine's still kind of suspicious of Kuro here, I think.
He's essentially saying that the raiders didn't kill him and believed him because he's explaining to the audience that like credibility is everything to the info broker.
Yeah,
and that's the reason that they didn't touch him.
Typical raiders trying to cheat and get more information. But now Kuro here is just like, all right, time to get down to business. You won, you overachieved it. I owe you an answer. And again, Rudo here being a good boy, showing
his appreciation.
Thanks the chest, puts his head against it, says thank you, and lets it go away. Back at Cleaner HQ, we have Tamsi, kind of learning, Rudo's off meeting with the information broker. I have nothing to do. I better go give them a hand.
What's your deal, brother? They're 3 days out.
Yeah, Tamsi, man, he's a character in this volume.
Yeah, but
we'll get there.
As we learn, even though they are 3 days out, he knows exactly where to meet him, pretty much.
Yep. So chapter 109 here, Amo's whereabouts, and we get some new characters here, I believe. So yeah, they're at the South Cleaners ward. We get this news guy again. Like all these little characters are just great. Like, oh, it's just like annoying big mouth news guy who I think Rio says in like the page after that, it's just like that guy is annoying.
Yeah, but he gets the news first, so
yeah.
So it's like a love-hate relationship.
We meet these two cleaners from the South Branch who I love.
They're supporters.
Mildreda.
Supporter cleaners, right?
Sorry, what was that?
Are they supporters? Yeah, they're supporters. Yeah, supporters.
They say supporters of the South Branch, yeah. Mildreda and Mirage, we get one good name and a name I'm not sure how to say. I'm going to say Mirage.
Both are odd. But
they're both odd, but the way that they play out this chapter is really funny. Also, I think that the South
that is not up to code. Definitely, it's dope looking. Definitely not up to code. That thing is going to break and collapse.
Yeah. Also, is it angled? Is it like it looks like it's angled?
Yeah, it's angled. It's angled.
Yeah.
Those pillars are like barely holding it up.
Yeah. The way that it plays out is pretty funny because I'm sure that you're familiar with, but if you're familiar with the idea of good cop, bad cop, the way that Mildreda and Mirage work when they talk to people is Mildreda is bad mom and Mirage is good mom. And they're like both very motherly in different ways. And I think it's really funny.
And they both have piercings. So that's like something you don't see that often.
I mean, in GACHIAKUTA, like everybody has them, but yeah, they have really like cool, interesting piercings, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Like Keirana's character design is great for using tattoos and piercings with like, it's very rare to see that in manga. So,
I think these are the first like women with piercings.
I mean, Rio definitely has. Rio and Seimu both have them. I think Amo.
Rio doesn't.
Amo has her weird like leg stitching things.
Rio
I think she has earrings, right? I think she has earrings.
No.
Not at all, really.
No. Yeah.
I gotta look at a picture now because I could have sworn she at least had earrings.
Take my word for it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean. I guess I just never really looked, so I never noticed probably because there weren't any.
I was looking out for interesting piercings.
Oh, cool. But yeah, the Fu is here, which is funny. Got our twins interrogating, and this is funny because again, it's like Mildreda, bad mom, is like our twins are interrogating him, and then good mom, Mieres, is like she calls it interrogation. We're just making sure he really doesn't see the cleaners as enemies.
And I like this part because I thought they just kind of ditched Fu, and I'm like, that's a dick move. Considering how much he helps, but Gris thought about Fu because Gris is a good dude.
Yeah, Gris he's a good guy. And yeah, Kuro comes in. I really like this part too. Like Kuro coming in and just like apologizing for like him being the reason that she got hurt and all this stuff. Also like that he's like he told me that he wouldn't punch me as long as I apologize to you.
Yeah. And it kind of shows that Kuro's like a big figure. He told me, that he wouldn't punch me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's an important guy in this world.
Yeah,
as we know. Yeah.
And he knows it, right? So, yeah. It's interesting kind of Rio laying in bed. She has a little bit of self-reflection here, which I think is like she needs to get stronger, all that good stuff. I mentioned here that like we see that the South Branch is its own separate thing, and that where Engine and that group are from is actually Central HQ. So I wonder if there's 4 total branches, like in 4 directions. Of cleaners that we might get to eventually.
Yeah, and I think just like we suspected, they're in Central because the boss is there.
Yeah.
But interesting to see the South Branch. I hope we get more on them.
Yeah. So yeah, Tamsi kind of sets out here. They took one of the tips I gave them about Amo's location with to rescue her. This is Kuro kind of talking about it, where he sent them. After we parted ways with Amo, somebody kidnapped her. So I appreciate this because they don't waste time. They kind of skip a section that we get back to later.
That's good because it has been schmoovin'.
Yeah, I mean, again, GACHIAKUTA is not interested in taking a break or, like slowing down and settling. There's always new stuff. And so they're just like, Kuro told us where to go. We went, we're there. Like immediately we're there. Rudo's like, I'll go in first. The person who took her might still be in there. If the kidnapper's a person, I just have to punch him. And Tamsy's in the background.
On this page, I think, like, of course we're suspicious. We know it's Tamsy's evil.
Yeah.
But, like, I think it's interesting how Rudo shoots him down instantly and says, no, I'm going first.
Yeah.
Like, early story, Rudo wouldn't take this kind of initiative or have this kind of confidence. So I appreciate he is building his confidence and assertiveness as the series goes. That's good to see.
For sure. And I think Amo is something that he's really... we learn later, they have a little conversation. He's very kind of personally invested in what happens to her and how it goes. They find Amo here. And this is, this was, at this point, I'm like holding my breath reading these chapters because I'm like, what? I'm like, this is tense. What is going to happen?
Amo plays it fucking cool. I mean, poor Amo. She's scared, but like, she plays it cool, man.
I think she doesn't know, right?
No, she does. Tamsy, you can tell in her eyes she's terrified of him, and Tamsy ate the cake right in front of her.
Well, but I think that's in these chapters. Does he like
the cake?
Does the Necronomicon
that was last
thing?
volume.
Well, no, not the cake. The Necronomicon thing is in this volume, right?
Yeah, but Tamsy, she knows Tamsy's evil.
I think this is like a what do you call it? Unconscious reaction. Like I think that she's kind of like
that? She knows that Tamsy's evil. She saw him. He visits her all the time.
Yeah, but I think
he doesn't even disguise his face. He like eats cake in front of her.
Yeah, but when we talk to her and she's in the hospital bed later, she says
she's lying about that because Tamsy's in the room.
I think that Tamsy did something with the book that like wiped her mind or changed her memories. I think that's what happened there, and I think this is like an unconscious reaction. I definitely could go either way, but
I don't think it can.
But we'll see. Yeah, but Tamsy gives her shoes back as he says thank you. He has an interesting thing. That I think is the end of 109. I believe this is the first page of chapter 110, which is the start of a flashback. This is where shit gets fucking wild, man. Like when we knew Tamsy was evil, I was like, okay, yeah, there's always, kind of a standard classic shonen thing. There's one guy in the group who's bad and you learn it later. This is more than that. So let's go through this chapter. We flash back basically to follow Tamsy's point of view when they first left Amo. You see, it's cool because you can see in these series of panels like this string leading back up into her thing, and it like follows the string through the panels. You can see the string here that he's leaving behind that goes up into her thing, and the string makes this guy
a scary rope man. I love. Like right
who
before
we've seen
this,
before, by the way.
We were, yeah, of course. But I like right before this, they were talking about how Tamsy's power is so useful, and he's like, yeah, like to restrain people without killing them. And Tamsy's like, yeah, I love having a supporter ability.
And then he just like absolutely bodies.
Here
Amo.
we see the angel wings, but we don't get the reveal yet. We're just like.
Well, so the mask he has here is very similar. We'll keep going because we'll get there. People have misunderstood me all my life, but the person I am now harbors no anger or resentment. This is Tamsy, I think, talking. He, like, again, absolutely just like bodies Amo here. It's like, I have something stronger than those emotions. He takes her boots. She screams and goes after him. He chokes her out. Something more right than anything else. They get in the car. His string is still there. Something that will trail after me for eternity. And then some wild shit happens. We flash back to chapter 1, Rudo and what is this guy's fucking name? Regto. And we learned that Tamsy is the fucking guy in the mask. Is the guy that we thought could have been
the angel.
He's the angel. And
so that I think that all but confirms the Watchman being Rudo's dad, but also so much he at this point I wrote he has the Necronomicon and killed Regto. What the fuck? Was also at Rudo's quote unquote funeral.
Yeah, well, and he's also the two people that show up to fight Amo's. It's him and his string monster. Are those two people? It's both Tamsi.
Yeah, I was wondering about the goon, but yeah, you're right. It's just a string monster. That's how he goes back and forth.
Yeah, and it's funny also because Volume 5 is the one with Tamsi on the front. Let me see.
I think this just brings up a lot of questions. But
it's a lot of questions, but it's also a lot of answers. So it's interesting.
Let's get into Tamsi's motivation towards the end. But instead, I'm curious about how he gets to the sphere and back down without the what? Maybe the boots.
It's a good question. It's a good question, and I mean there are. My guess here would be there are 4 symbols that we saw under the kind of the big Watchmen paintings. We kind of have leads or theories on 3 of them, and we don't know what the 4th one is. If I had to guess, something about that 4th symbol has something to do with Tamsi. Not necessarily that that's directly his vital instrument or anything, but I don't know. Something about that 4th symbol that we don't really know about feels like it might be involved with Tamsi. That would be my guess.
And we do know that he is not a Raider. He has nothing to do with the Raiders.
Yes, he's a separate, for sure. Which is consistent with what we know about the actions that he took kind of before, and the actions we were tracking when we just thought it was the 2 guys coming to help Amo, right? So
right.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, this is a wild reveal. I will say, I don't remember. I think I put it at the end of here. Tamsi decides how to be the worst person he possibly can be to tease Rudo next.
Okay, so he says he does it out of love. He killed Regto out of love. And he says poor thing about Amo. He doesn't actually care about Amo. Yeah. He's just using her as like a toy to manipulate Rudo.
Yeah.
He tormented her after all. But this is like he's trying to push Rudo into something with this dialogue.
Right. Well, and this gives us a little bit of insight into what he's trying to do, because he says, I need to get him to break out of that shell. And it shows us this
cocoon, the heart.
Yeah, the sort of like dark heart that was awoken whenever Rudo like got really mad and beat the shit out of Amo, right?
That's the Trash Beast heart, too.
The
cocoon in the Trash Beast? I think so.
It definitely looks similar. I think specifically that picture is the picture we are shown when Seimu is talking about looking inside Rudo, and it's kind of juxtaposed with.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
So he's trying to awaken like some darkness within him. He's like, I was close when I killed Regto, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And this is the scene we were talking about on the first volume. This is the scene like when we saw Rudo's crazy eyes and the art changed, and everyone looked like a monster to Rudo. So that's what he meant when he was close. It was like Rudo's about to snap.
Well, and I didn't go back and fully read those chapters, but I'd be curious to go back and read that kind of Amo fight and see like what is Tamsi thinking, or what is he doing? Does he look suspicious? Is he doing anything? Because there is, and I think I put it maybe at the end here.
I have to do it for love. There's no other choice. Why does he love Rudo?
I don't know.
What's his deal?
It's going to be one of these weird, like, misplaced love things. Again,
well, he's nuts.
I don't know.
We do know certifiably that he's nuts.
For sure, he's nuts. So I put, yes. Okay. So when the first reveal that Tamsi was the one who was like the guy in chapter 1 who set all this shit off, I was like, man, at first I was like, I don't know if I like that, because I don't know if I saw any hints about that possibly being true. I feel like it was kind of out of left field. It didn't feel like it was informed by anything, but luckily there are some hints and we missed them. So I want to talk about them.
Okay.
The first one is here, and somebody, apparently like one guy on Reddit found this and posted about it, and everyone was like, no way. So this is when they run into each other. He drops the book. Look at this gloved hand here. Do you notice anything specific? This is Tamsi's hand.
No.
The pinky kind of looks like it's loose, like it doesn't have a pinky.
Like Kuro's.
Like he's missing a finger. What's there?
He has all his fingers?
No, he's missing a finger.
Oh,
he's missing part of a finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either. Like I blazed right past this. Like I didn't notice. But yeah, he's missing a finger, and this glove is like there was a connection, 20 chapters ago, whatever this is. Yeah, which is cool. Like it's cool that it's there. That once you know it's true, you can go back and find the evidence for it. I think that's great. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah,
because it felt unsatisfying to me at first because I was like, I don't think we saw any hints about that. I feel like we read pretty deep dive in discussion, so we do. And we didn't notice it, but we just missed it. But it's cool to have it pointed out and go back and be able to see it. So I like.
Yeah,
I like
that is cool.
Yeah, and the other thing to point out is, of course, this is Tamsin the Mask, and this face here.
Is his straw monster.
Is the straw monster face here. Yeah, it's the same face. So that's cool because I was always wondering, like, okay, if this is, when we thought it was his dad or something, I was like, who's the second guy? What is it? Who's the second guy? It's like, it's just both Tamsin, which is cool. So yeah, that's a big, cool reveal. I like that. That kind of ties up a lot of chapter 1, right? Like kind of, there's not a whole lot of mysteries left from the first chapter. It was cool that there was still mysteries left there, but I guess we still don't know why Tamsin did all this or what his true motivation is, but yeah,
we don't know that yet, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thread Beast. Yes. Okay. So this is a start of 111, I believe. Amo kind of slowly waking up. Goofy Rudo here with a plant on his chest. He's like,
yeah.
Sup. Is it a flower spot from your head? What? No. I was looking at your shoes and fell. Anyways, being Goofy, it's kind of heartfelt and sad.
Yeah, they have a sweet moment together.
Yeah, very much. And she touches the boot and like obviously feels a little bit better. Yeah, this is like, man, Amo gets the short end of every stick, and I'm glad that it's like, okay, she's hopefully is safe and better now. She kind of says, she's like, Amo was mean to you. She thinks this is part of her punishment, but it just, I can't do it anymore. I can't go through that again. I can't stand the fear that I'll disappear. No. She's like, God, I feel she's one of the most pitiable manga characters.
She doesn't even deserve to be punished.
No, she doesn't. She does not deserve any of this.
Yeah. Get the girl some therapy. She needs some help out here.
For sure, yeah. But again, she gets kind of the happiness of like, Amo is happy you came for her. Thank you. Like, it's like good crying face. Like, another One Piece comparison.
Nico like, Robin crying face.
It's an ugly, it is an ugly crying face. It isn't, a beautiful, gorgeous crying anime girl. But yeah, and they had this nice kind of quiet moment connecting, which Tamsin interrupts, of course. It's like,
he just shows up.
Such a thing.
And he's a prick about it.
Yeah. But yeah, and Amo kind of, Amo says, he's like, who did this to you? And Amo says, like, a long-haired woman. Is that all? It's like, Amo can't remember. See, I get that, like, she sees him and feels fear. I think that's the kind of thing. But here it really seems like she's struggling. Like, she can't remember. She remembers everything.
I think she's struggling to lie. I don't
know, because Tamsin detects a lie later on in this volume with Rudo really easily.
It doesn't matter because Tamsin's also in on the lie. It's just that if Rudo believes the lie or not, that matters.
But then I don't. What does this mean then?
I don't know.
I think that I'm still of the opinion that I think that he used the Watchmen series book to cast some kind of spell that erased her sight or made her see someone else, or like see him fuzzily all the whole time it was there. Because I think that's what he's saying here, right? Like, oh, it's super handy. She doesn't remember what I look like because I used the thing to cast a spell, and she doesn't know it because of that spell, right? That's what I think is happening, but it definitely could be that she's lying. It could be either, but
I feel like she just detects a threat within, and is like doesn't feel comfortable saying it right in front of her captor.
Yeah. I definitely think either is possible, but we'll have to see. This is another interesting thing.
Tamsin I wrote that down too.
Yeah, its real name isn't that dorky when he talks about the Watchmen series. So it has some cool real name that we don't know about, which is awesome.
The Watchmen series sounds cool, but I think
it does sound cool. Which means that his real name is probably Bundus or something like stupid. Like,
I know. But what does Tamsin think is cool? He thinks like roller skating is cool. So, his credibility on coolness is shot.
That's true. Yeah.
But anyway, Yeah, I love Rudo's face just staring at him with like the dead eyes, because you never see his eyes completely black like this.
Yeah.
You know, like his irises.
Kind of all the way filled in, yeah.
Yeah. And he says, did the information broker know about me and leave that bit out? Or does he actually not know?
And he kind of tries to pry in and asks, like, what did you find out?
Yeah.
I asked him where to find the person who made the chokers, but he didn't know.
Okay, at this point, I wrote that I don't buy it one bit. The info broker is hiding information from Tansy. The whole race was set up on the premise of having information on the chokers.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we get like in the next it goes to the next chapter here in a sec. And Tansy can tell Rudo's lying because he knows a liar's face well.
Yeah. But yeah, it was again, like, I held my breath a lot in this volume because there's a lot of tension here between like Tansy showing up, making bad jokes. Like, does he know? Does Rudo know? Who knows what? Really good tension in this volume of like not letting the audience in on who knows what when. He's heard something, hasn't he? And yeah, so that's the end of 111, and we get this weird fizz thing, which a couple of people do this with their mouth this chapter and next chapter. So I don't know if that's anything or if it's just like I
think it's just like a tick before he's about to lie.
Yeah, I think it's probably something like that. But yeah, here is chapter 112, which is the last chapter we are going over here, which is a flashback of the kind of skipped time of Kuro telling Engine and Rudo what's going on. So I forget that Engine's a smoker. It makes him cooler in a way. Like, it makes him cooler in an old-fashioned, like, old shitty guy way, where it's like, well,
you know what? Like I said, he is not the Gojo type where he's like more of the male fantasy than he is like the female fantasy.
Yeah.
In that he is very much a Spike Spiegel-esque character where he's a shithead, he smokes, but all dudes think he's cool, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Just like, wait, what am I doing the talking? You ask him. So yeah, Kuro like says, you get a second question because he helped it with the box. For my second question, in exchange, you will tell me where Amo is. And they're like, wait a minute, you managed to drag the right to another piece of intel out of him, and you go with that? Like, I thought you were going to ask him about the choker guy. And Rudo here, I think, again, shows what a good boy he is and how compassionate. It's like, if I can get two answers, then I refuse to miss my chance to learn about Amo. Like, we'll get the choker thing and then tell me exactly where Amo is.
And Engine's just biting his tongue, trying not to be a shithead about it.
He's like, we could have asked him anything else and gotten stuff. It tells him he's held captive by who. And he's kind of like, watch out, you can't ask more questions. And
he's like, I even hooked you up by using the word held captive, is what Kuro says.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of extra info I gave you. Yeah,
we also get this interesting, he kind of taps this piece of paper, a little something extra. For the rest, you have to find the answer to yourself. He's like, I can pay your stupid price if, no, I might get someone hurt. I'd appreciate if you would maintain your cool demeanor. He's like, what? He's like, let's see. He's like, calm down. He literally hits him with a calm down, Rudo.
Because the info broker knows he's an impulsive boy. Yeah. Ultimately.
But he also gets, I think you're right. I think this is just evidence that someone's about to lie, because you want information on the choker and he does this little shift thing and then he says, well, I don't have it. And then Rudo tackles him through the wall.
Just wallops him, or I guess grabs his collar.
Tackles him,
Yeah, that's great.
So then he kind of, he's like, you stupid, idiotic, moronic, church-face, quack, con artist, freaking turd face. He gets really mad. Besides, you got to see your ancestors' will. He's like, so you did get something out of it. And he hands this piece of paper to Engine. Kuro hands piece of paper to Engine. He's like, I can't anymore. I'm going to pound him. And he's like, wait, is this? And Kuro kind of like does the shush motion. He's like, Duke, forgive me. The choker maker is an expert at hiding information. Only false information ever reaches my ears. And Engine Rudo's popping off. Engine's going reading it. It's like, he's like, that's just how this guy is. Let's leave him. He's like, have some candy and settle down, and like shows him the little note. which is a cool reveal that says the contents of this letter must never be spoken out loud. The Choker Maker listens to our voices. In 2 weeks, South Ward will be holding its doll festival. Go there and look for the White Crow. The crow will lead you to someone who knows where to find the Choker Maker. But if the Choker Maker catches wind of this, your targets will escape. So tell no one, not even your fellow cleaners.
So the cell phones are tapped, which is why he gives the notes. The cells are all tapped.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Rudo's terrible lie.
His awful lies. Like you don't even have to be me to know you're lying, Rudo. Yeah, and that I
love Rudo's face in that panel.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like that of a caveman a little bit.
Yeah, but it's a cool reveal, and I like that it seems like upcoming what we're gonna get is like a Rudo engine 2-person secret mission. But yeah, I like to cut it back to kind of the first two ground, the first character, the first kind of ground character, but the first two really big characters we meet. And we haven't gotten a whole lot of like just Engine and Rudo stuff yet. Like this last chapter we got some, but there's
I like that we do get it interspersed, right? Like the talk after he beats up Amo, and like the looking at the murals on the wall together. It's like, so yeah, we haven't had like an Engine Rudo arc, but they have
been very connected. So
yeah, exactly.
And I think it'll continue to be like that. But yeah, this is, this is full of interesting things in this volume, I would say.
Great volume. I really liked it.
Yeah.
A lot of crows, man. A lot of crows I'm noticing.
Yeah, so this is I don't know when this will actually be published. I think pretty soon. We're recording this kind of end of October. I think by mid-November this should be out once we get the cover reveal. So it'll be interesting. I have read ahead. So I have read chapter 113 and 114.
I have not.
Yeah, so just to kind of I'll let people know how this will work going forward is like every 9 weeks, I guess you can expect 9 to 10 weeks. You can expect, I guess, another video covering what the next expected volume will be. We're basically just going to do 9 chapters at a time. And then once we get the cover reveal of that chapter, which is usually a month maybe or so before the volume releases, maybe just a couple of weeks, the Japanese volume, we'll publish that video and people can talk about it. So we'll end up being kind of 5 or so chapters behind, I guess like 5 to 6 chapters behind current like live translations in the West. So, but I still think this will be great. This is a great volume. I liked it again. I think this is, again, we kind of had an action volume last volume. This one's more of setup for more stuff. We know what our new kind of mission is. There's a doll festival that's coming up. They find this white crow. It's interesting that the crows are important again. We have mentioned crows being important in the past, so I'll be curious.
So we definitely goes. We think it'll be Rudo and Engine because they're the main two.
Yeah,
but it's a doll festival, so surely Fu will be there.
Potentially, yeah.
He has a doll.
He does have a doll, yeah. The next chapter gives us a little bit more information on the doll festival, but yeah, we'll see who else comes. I think there will be some interesting people there. There's also, there's some other stuff at play that we haven't talked about or seen much. Bundus, remember, was given the little figure with the name Canis Surebrek on the bottom and kind of sent off by Zodal to go find or do something. I think there's potential that Bundus shows up again. As
would love to see him.
Yeah, as sort of the adversary. What are they called? The Hellguard. Hellguard. The Hellguard are still out there. Hio, the sort of swordsman, found the collapsed, what's her name? Norde.
Her comb.
Zonka. Yeah, Zonka hasn't been in the past two and a half volumes.
I know, and so, I'm feeling that.
Yeah, he might be coming back. Rio is injured. But I think we've injured those characters to get. I think this is to get Engine and Rudo doing something, and maybe this is the time where we'll get more Engine backstory. Maybe we'll get more about why his umbrella is one of the symbols under those on those paintings. I think that to me that feels confirmed. Aibo. We know that he had some kind of secret, more powerful thing in his bags that we don't know about. So Engine's got secrets. I'm hoping maybe we get 1 or 2 of them in this upcoming volume. That would be my hope.
And he has like a, not a bloodline, but like a lineage behind the name Engine. just like Rudo and the
Sherbrex. Not his real given name. Engine is what he took.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, inherited from the last Engine.
Do we know that? I don't think we know that.
Yeah.
I thought we know that he chose the name Engine.
I'm pretty sure he mentioned he inherited it from the previous.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that's it. But I appreciate Engine, like his fighting style, because I think a lot of like really strong anime characters tend to have either like this, like Goku-esque beams or whatever, or they have like this mind game type, like esoteric fighting style when they're overpowered. But Engine is just like a fighter in D&D. He just it's all like destructive and not elegant, and he just rips and tears, and I appreciate just that.
Like drill umbrella, the huge 8-octave hit thing that takes out some trash beasts. Yeah, he's just like a good strong fighter who is older than the other people and has fought more.
He's overpowered because he is like really good at fighting. That's the only reason. He's just like the umbrella itself doesn't seem like an OP hidden ability type of thing. It's just flexible and lets him like rampage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we don't know what's in his bag that he asked for. That's his like more powerful trump card. So I'm curious about that, because that has been we've gotten 2 hints at that. I think it was during when they're inside the trash beast that fight. I think he like goes for it in his bag and is like, maybe I need to use the thing, and then ends up not using it. And then when he's fighting the big trash beast in the lake here, he's like, throw in my bag, I need to use my special thing. And they're like, oh, the bag got destroyed by the trash beast.
Dude, watch him pull out a fucking gun.
God damn it, that would be so... On one hand, please don't. On the other hand, that would be so fucking funny. If like everyone's secret weapon is just, oh, I also have a gun.
They just want to fight with a rule of cool, but like when shit gets serious, they all pull out their clocks.
It's all just like, I have to go for my secret weapon. Like, oh, what's his secret weapon? This is so cool. What magic system? It's like, nope, it's just a gun. Like he has an AK-47.
It's just a gun.
Surely it's not, but maybe. But yeah, I'm curious because usually, the writerly thing to do is point something out 2 times, and then the third time use it, right? Like so that.
Yeah.
The third time, the rule of 3s, I guess you could say. So I really hope that the next time he needs to go for something in his bag, he actually uses it. I would hope. But yeah, I think I'm expecting more Engine stuff. Scaled back cast, some new location. They're going to the south, I think they said, wherever the Doll Festival is. In 2 weeks, South Ward. So yeah.
And we likely get to see some of like the Southside Cleaners.
Yeah, potentially. I think that also would be cool, because I think that is it the North branch that had the 2 motherly characters? I don't remember which branch they were at.
That was the South.
Was that also
South?
South? Okay.
Yeah. So they're in the area.
Yeah. So then maybe Rio shows up again if she heals and stuff. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Tamsy, how did you get there, bro? You skate over or something? It's like a 3-day drive.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a good one though.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other theories? Anything else you want to talk about with this volume, Gautam?
So the thing is, like, we talked about our theories throughout. I think I only have like questions that we already discussed. I guess the biggest one in my head is, what is Tamsy's motivation? What is his deal? Like, what is your deal, Tamsy? Why are you in love with Rudo? Why are you trying to break him? What is your allegiance and what is your goal? Like, I think that is ultimately probably what everyone has questions about right now, right?
Yeah, I think that the large question before this volume kind of would have been like more historical stuff, like, or maybe like what's who is Kuro, or what is this Canis Cerebrex stuff. Now I do agree. I think Tamsy, because Tamsy's the third party right now, right? Like we know that there's the Cleaners and Rudo, and they have their goals, and we know that the Raiders and Zodal, and they want their thing. And then there is this third party, which we always knew was, the Angel and his partner, which now we know is Tamsy. And like that, he's done some strange, interesting things. And we don't know why. He
instigated the plot for this series.
Yeah, it's like the inciting event is his fault.
For now, but he is like the first party in regards to like the antagonist of this series.
Yeah, for sure.
If we have to put a label on one.
Yeah, he kickstarted the whole story. He killed the name I always forget.
Regto.
he killed Regto. He took that book. He watched Rudo get thrown off of the sphere. So yeah, Tamsi did that, which is wild to say, but cool. I mean, it's cool to go back and see his hand, missing the finger and showing the glove.
Cool. And in regards to watching Rudo get executed or thrown off the sphere, he loves Rudo. Everything he does is Rudo-centric. He knew Rudo wouldn't die falling off the sphere. Otherwise...
I think so. Or he was testing and seeing if he would or wouldn't die. I find
that one hard because he's so obsessed, right? He's so obsessed with Rudo. Everything he does is based on breaking, quote unquote, or in his eyes, maybe fixing Rudo or unleashing his true potential. And he said he was close after killing Regto. But he says in this volume, I guess I need to kill someone else.
Yeah.
So this is all, his motivations are all surrounding Rudo. But it makes sense that he knew Rudo wouldn't die because he has gone off and on the sphere multiple times.
I'm developing a theory as we record. What if, so let's assume a couple of things that may or may not be true. Let's assume that the Watchmen are all the family lineage of Shurebrek, right?
Okay.
So the current one who looks different than the others that we've seen in the past is, let's just assume that is Rudo's dad. And so what if the reason Tamsi needs to get him to break out of his shell, needs him to unleash that kind of darkness inside him, is that what if it's Tamsi's responsibility, or Tamsi and Tamsi's, lineage or team or group or whatever? It's his job to make sure that there's always a Watchman, and they only last, 20 years or something. And the new one, the Watchman's about to run out, and Rudo needs to be the next Watchman and needs to be prepared and has to unleash his power for that. Something like that. That's... It's flimsy, but that's what I've got going right now.
I could see that. I think that's it. That has the potential to be right. You know,
there's kind of enough hints of because we definitely have seen that there's those different dark figures, different Watchmen throughout the years. It's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it's there's so many things that are if I just had one little more shred of information on X, Y, or Z, I could go more. But
I have a few theories too that I'm also forming now, but so Tamsi is I do everything out of love for Rudo. He can traverse between the sphere and the surface without catching the ire of the Watchmen, and not having the full set of the Watchmen series.
We assume any of the Watchmen series, right? Well, no, because now he had
the boots for ammo, right? So some of his trips make sense, but he had to make some of these trips without any Watchmen.
He's made at least one trip we know of without the Watchmen series, right? Because he had the boots. We assume he had the boots. He came, gave him to Amo, went up. That's the trip that he didn't have one. Got the Necronomicon, came back down.
Yeah,
to be Tamsi
exactly.
again. So
he made at least one trip without any items.
Yeah.
So I think this may lead to Tamsi being related to Rudo. If he says he's doing everything out of love,
it's possible.
And he's not spurring the Watchman's ire, which we know the Watchman reacts pretty much instantly to anyone crossing the threshold without them. Then I could see him being related to the Shurebrek lineage.
Over under chance that Tamsi is Rudo's dad.
That's not him. He's too young.
5%?
1%.
Okay, yeah. I think we know that Tamsi's what did we say, 23 or something in one of the...
Yeah. Did we have his actual age?
Yeah, one of the comments in the past, on one of the past videos, told me what his age was. I can go find it.
Maybe it's the last volume because we were talking about ages. But, okay, the other theory is Tamsi's blind, right? In regards to the census theory, because he doesn't have, pupils, and this is how you draw blind people. I don't know.
He definitely kind of seemed to maybe imply that, but that also does kind of line up with if the Watchmanomicon is about sight, and we assume
that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe he wasn't blind until he picked it up and used it, or something like that. Maybe it takes his sight from him or allows him some other spectral sight.
The cleaners
or
would have noticed though. If that
maybe
because he was part of the cleaners. And I guess like what I have a question about is this shit make you go insane. He won't be able to use this item if he wasn't missing a piece. And he clearly is missing a piece.
Yeah.
Right?
Only fucked up people can use the Watchmen series. Yeah.
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 But I guess my question is, and it was he fucked up? Was he like crazy and evil before he got the Necronomicon?
I mean, did stab Regto with a big sword. So
yeah, okay. I think he was always evil. He did do a murder
wherever it was here. Yeah, he did do this. So, yeah.
And I think we can all agree that wasn't very chill of him. But
yeah, super uncool.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
But here's another thing though. The pictures of the flashback we see of Canis look a lot like Regto. Do you notice that? They have kind of the same like thin beard, like go all the way back there. So and Regto it says is his uncle, right? He calls him that, and I don't know if that's like.
I thought Regto was his dad's friend.
Was it just his dad's friend? Yeah, I don't fully remember either. Where was that? Yeah, here. No.
I'm pretty sure it was
here, right? We get the kind of like the beard here, and that looks a lot like. Let me find Regto in chapter 1 here. I mean, it just like it's a similar beard. It's not exactly the same, but it's kind of that like scraggly.
I'd have to go through chapter 1 again, but I think it's his dad's friend. But I'm not fully remembering.
It kind of does make me wonder because, like, I don't know, like the stuff with Rudo's dad is like, we've never been shown like a shadow of Rudo's dad or anything. We've only been shown Regto. We know that his dad abandoned him, but it hasn't like, Rudo's never been like, oh yeah, I remember my dad X and Y. He just like, my dad left and I was raised by Regto. Regto looks like it could be his dad. maybe that was like a lie to keep him safe so that he wouldn't. I don't think so. Well, then, Regto also had part of the Watchmen series, was reading it in chapter 1 and did not go crazy. So there's a lot of shit. This opens up a lot of floodgates. This volume is
did Regto read the Necronomicon?
I'm pretty sure we see him reading it. I'm gonna go through chapter 1 again because I'm pretty sure we see him reading or using it. No, because he already took it there. So maybe we don't actually see him. I don't know. I don't have every. That's just my note pages, so I don't have every page. I could go back and read the whole chapter 1. I feel like we do see him with it on his desk or like reading it at some point. I want to say we do. Maybe not, but.
I don't think Regto was anyone special aside from just being Rudo's parent figure.
Yeah.
In his dad's absence.
I just noticed something else staring at this. Look at Canis' hands. Yeah. Canis' hands look like Rudo's hands. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is. We were talking about this slightly before, that I like this volume because it answered a lot of questions, but by answering those questions, I get introduced even more questions, which is cool. It's a cool momentum thing for the series.
I appreciate that it's like the questions are all like immediately tied to things that we are curious about. So it's not like hard to keep track of. It's not like there's like a million different questions in the air, but they're all like in my brain. There's nothing I have to like go back and be like, wait, what is this reveal that they're doing? You know, it's like, it's all like connected to things that are immediately relevant. So
GACHIAKUTA might be. I'm trying to think if there's another series other than One Piece that is as good at world building as GACHIAKUTA, and I think it's in second place for me. Like, I can't think of another series where I go like, wow, this world is cool and interesting and mysterious, and I'm asking questions about it all the time, and I'm getting answers that I think are cool. Absolutely love the world building.
HXH, buddy, that's the one.
You can have that one. I will not. But this is.
You're just a hater.
I am a hater, but it's like, it's easily a top 5 like best world building in manga right now. I would say, like, I can't.
It's pretty solid.
It's really, really good, and to do all this in 110 chapters we've only read so far is pretty crazy. Like, to be able to have all these questions and have questions answered and make theories and go and find evidence for those theories in 110 chapters, and it's this deep. I think that's so cool. I love this series.
It's very good.
Yep. Cool. I think that's it. Anything, unless you wanted to do anything, go over anything else here, Gautam?
Nope, that's about it.
Awesome. Hey, thanks everyone for listening or watching. Please stick around for continuing discussions. Like we said, about every 3 months, you should be getting a new one of these videos. So stay tuned for those. Please keep up with us. Be sure to check out the Patreon if you want to support us. Maybe we'll get some more book clubs throughout the year with that. Check out Twitter, see more thoughts and posts. If you are a weekly manga reader, stuff like Shonen Jump or Weekly Shonen Magazine, which publishes GACHIAKUTA, go and check out the Weekly Manga Podcast on this channel. I think that's it for the GACHIAKUTA Book Club read-through volume 13. So adios.
Goodbye.
And don't forget to read more manga.